Scorpio, what's up, y'all? How y'all doing? What is good with you? It's time for your weekly check-in. We're gonna see what's going on with you guys for the end of September. So actually, I'm just gonna make this the last week and a half, since technically the last business week of September is only a half a week. We're just gonna knock it all out at once. So the end of September. So it's a weekly check-in, so it's just a short, quick, general, energetic overview. If any of you need a personal reading, you can always go straight to my website, tarotwithrich.com. I have a link right down here in the description of the video. Reminder, everybody, this week, the weekly live readings are going to be on Sunday. We got something that came up tomorrow. So that happens from time to time. So we're going to be moving it a day. The weekly live reading is going to be Sunday. Everything else is still the same. You can pre-order on my website, $22.22. And they're read in the order of which they come in. The list of pre-orders is still relatively small right now. So anybody that orders now will be in the very front of the line. If you wait until we're live, I can't promise you how long it's going to take to get to your reading, but again, the video remains on my channel permanently with the readings time-stamped in the comments, so you can always go straight to it anytime you want. All right, let's jump into this. Let's see what we can tell, Scorpio. How's the energy looking? How's the energy looking between Scorpio and the person they're dealing with? End of September 2025, universe. Ooh, Ace of Cups reversed. So, doesn't look like a new start in love happening here. I hate to be that simple with it, but for some of you, it could be an unrequited love type situation, potentially. They're giving you the silent treatment. They're afraid you're mad at them. Oh. Oh. I don't know. Ah, you know what? Closure. I think I'm seeing a closure conversation happening here. Now, I don't know if the initial intention behind the initiation of the conversation is closure, but I think that's what it's going to result in. Yeah, look at that. Look at that. That's closure. That's a closure conversation. I don't know. Something kind of tells me that that's not the initial intention, you know? I kind of feel like somebody is hoping for something other than closure to happen as a result of this conversation, but somehow, some way, I'm not really sure, it ends up in closure. Maybe for some of you know what I'm kind of feeling like? I'm kind of feeling like for some of you, you're going to be reminded why this person gets on your fucking nerves. It's like one of them situations where after a certain amount of time passes, your mind can sometimes do this interesting thing where it takes all the negative shit and buries it and hides it and repaints a false memory that's made up of like 99% of the positive memories and just fills in all the rest with just a bunch of bullshit. So when you're thinking back on it after a while, if you really stop and put conscious thought into it, sometimes you can find yourself asking, so what was the actual problem though? I remember we argued a lot, but I don't remember what we argued about. I remember not really being all that happy, but I don't remember why. What was I unhappy about? I don't even remember. What was I mad about back then? I don't even remember. And then you reconnect with them. And it's like, oh yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. All right. Yep. I remember now. I remember. And then that has to be timed out perfectly though. I'm not saying you have to time it out perfectly, but sometimes the universe times that out perfectly. And letting go happens by default. Even if the day before You were thinking you're missing them, you love them, you want to get back with them, you want to see if we can give us another try. Then you reconnect with them. It's like, oh yeah, okay, no, I'm good. I'm straight to the gate on that, yo. I'm all good. Some of you dealing with an Aquarius also have Cancer. So, Knight of Swords again. Ooh, also have Capricorn. Some of you dealt with somebody that has an addiction issue. And maybe you gonna find out that not only have they not gotten clean, but they've gotten worse. You know? This person, let's just put it like this. Their life has not improved. It's gotten worse. They've gone further downhill. And when you see that, it's going to be like, never mind. I'm good. I'm good, yo. All right. Well, let's see how they feel about you. What are their truest, deepest feelings, energies, and intentions? Two of Pentacles. See, that came out in the last spread. I just didn't say nothing about it. Two more shuffles. I think the main concern here is they're just wondering how you feel about them. If that makes sense. They kind of have this sneaking suspicion that you're in love with them and you miss them. And they just want that validated. Kind of like an itch they can't scratch. And that's pretty much it. They haven't, I don't think they've put much thought beyond that. So, like in fantasy fairy tale land, if you were to show up in their inbox on some, I miss you, I love you, I want to be with you, this, that, the third, and whoop-de-whoop, then what? Then what? They're not thinking that far into it. So if anything, the only logical outcome that would come of that would be they would just play along with it and string you along to make them feel good about themselves, you know? But yeah, I think they're just wondering where they stand with you, mainly. It's the main thing they're wondering. Well, let's grab the advice for this situation, since I think we got the outcome in the first spread. I think closure is happening, whether you're expecting that or not. What's the outcome? Or I'm sorry. What's the advice? Devil reversed in the advice. So I would take advantage of this if I was you. This is one of those types of things that I think needs to play out the way it's going to play out. I think a conversation would be beneficial. I'm not going to tell you to ignore the person, but I do think that I would tell you that those of you who do, go ahead and decide to engage in conversation with this person. Just keep them at an arm's distance long enough to be able to draw a sensible conclusion as to what's going on here. Because, man, I'm telling you, with the Devil card, they want something out of you. something. They want to use you for some service to self fucking reason that they're not going to reveal to you. Like, hey, sex-based connection. Maybe though, especially if you're dealing with somebody that has an addiction issue, maybe they want to try to see if they can get a little bit of money off of you. A little bit of money and some booty shit. That's a fucking come up, right? Man, it's been hard. It's been stressful. I ain't been laid in a couple of months. I need to get high and I need to get laid. Fuck, I ain't finding nobody and nothing out there. Man, I wonder what old Scorpio up to. It'd be fucking awesome if I could go get me some booty and a little bit of money, you know? Just saying, the energy behind that, okay? Arm's distance. Matter of fact, that'll tell you a lot about their intentions if you keep them at an arm's distance, no matter what. I was just telling Libra something similar to this, where, well, you know how one of my pieces of go-to advice is that if you're ever curious about whether or not somebody's trying to manipulate you, you just keep them at an arm's distance. Or no, let me backtrack. If you're ever curious about whether or not somebody's trying to manipulate you, you set a boundary. Well, keeping somebody at an arm's distance, that's setting a boundary, right? I'm going to tell you right now, man. I'm going to tell you right goddamn now. A person who's not trying to manipulate you will respect any boundaries you lay. This is the slipperiest slope in the whole fucking dating world. And I think I think the general opinion and perception of this needs to be revamped and needs a second look, right? Because there's a lot of people that believe that, hey, there's nothing wrong with a little bit of persistence when you're dating, you know? Some people say, well, persistence shows how much they want me. Oh, man, the line is finer than a frog's hair split 3 ways, dude. At the end of the day, you shouldn't have to be persistent. There's nothing wrong with initiating. I'm not saying that. But you shouldn't have to be persistent. If I initiate and you shut me down, all right, cool. That's how you feel? All right, then. Later. I ain't chasing you. I'm not begging. Shouldn't have to. I shouldn't have to. So where's the line between romance and manipulation as far as that goes? I'm going to tell you what right now. A person who's not trying to manipulate you will respect your boundaries. Especially if you dealt with a goddamn drug addict. Especially, and I feel like there's probably quite a few of you who dealt with a drug addict. Even if it wasn't a drug addict, something that resonates with this energy right here. Keep them at an arm's distance for an unknown period of time. And hey, if we can just remain cool and cordial to the point to where intuitively it feels like you don't really have any ulterior motives, I'll let you in a little closer, a little bit closer. And we'll see how that go. And if it seems like you don't have any ulterior motives, I'll let you in a little closer. You see what I'm saying? With this individual here, it ain't gonna take long. It ain't gonna take long. You lay a solid boundary, it ain't gonna take long before they expose their intentions. All right. So just take the opportunity for closure. Don't engage in any arguments, nothing like that. If anything, just send them love and light. Stay blessed. I hope you find peace and happiness, and block them if you have to. See what I'm saying? All right. Let's see what's coming in for the singles. What's coming in for the single Scorpios? End of September 2025. Hang on a second. That could go one of two ways. Two more shuffles. See, yeah. Kind of thinking that somebody is trying to make their way in that you're not interested in. So what I was trying to figure out is this an opportunity that you're not aware of? Or is this something that you're intentionally giving the cold shoulder to because you're not interested? And with the King of Cups reversed and the King of Pentacles reversed, I think it's somebody you're not really interested in. Some of you know, or maybe highly suspect that this person just cannot be fucking trusted. It could be somebody at the workplace for some of you, but something about this person, I don't know if it's an intuitive feeling, or maybe you've heard a few rumors flying around about this person, or maybe you've just seen stone cold, rock solid facts and evidence. But for some reason, your guard is sky high with this person. And so it's kind of looking like you ain't trying to fuck with them. But they're trying to figure out some kind of sort of way to weasel their way in. Some kind of sort of way. Yeah, okay. All right, well, it says the Knight of Cups in the reverse here. I don't really want to go as far as to say that they are or are not directly coming forward with a love offer. Maybe for some of you they are. For others of you, maybe it's just a little flirty flirt here and there. I got a lot of workplace energy in this spread too. So, for example, that person at the workplace who is maybe overly friendly, and you just highly suspect something's off about them. Highly. Especially if they're already in a relationship, or you suspect they may be in a relationship and something just feels off. I think most of us have been in that situation before where something feels highly off about somebody. You don't want to say nothing because you can't quite put a finger on exactly what it is. And you can't point to exactly what it is. It would be really, really easy to play it off and call you crazy if you said something about it. So you just kind of keep quiet, step back and don't say nothing because you don't want to sound crazy. You don't want to be made fun of. Something along the lines of that is kind of what this feels like. Could be a fellow Scorpio for some of you. Also got Leo here. Man, watch out for the fixed signs. I'm telling you, I'm a fixed sign too. We are the only energy out there that it's really dangerous and risky to mix. And I'm not element, I'm sorry, quality. You see cardinal and cardinal all the time. It's not really that successful, but I've seen it. You see mutable and mutable all the goddamn time. And again, not the smartest energetic combination, but fixed and fixed. I'm going to tell you what right goddamn now. Unless you got a whole chart beyond your sun sign filled with shit that has a lot of potential if mixed together. Fixed and fixed sun signs. Man, I'm gonna tell you what. Oh, you ain't never fought a battle until you get into it with a fucking fixed sign in a relationship. Y'all will spin in the same goddamn circles for fucking years, arguing about the same motherfucking thing for 5 years straight. Anyway, though, I don't want to trail off. So let's see how this situation plays itself out. I'm a little bit curious. So I'm not really seeing any action. Not yet, at least. Let's see. What's the outcome of this situation? What's the outcome? Boom. 6 of Cups. Okay, so yeah, I think the good news is that this person's still a little bit intimidated, reluctant, apprehensive. So I don't think that they're bold and brazen enough to just come straight forward and spit their game at you, you know. But they're figuring it out. I think maybe a little handful of you may have to go through that, but I think the overwhelming majority of you are just dealing with somebody that's still feeling you out, you know. And I think the majority of you, when I say this, know exactly who I'm talking about. If you don't know who I'm talking about, well, I would say pay closer attention to the energy with the people, like at the workplace or in your friend group or whatever. But, yeah, and what is it with the daggum dang old devil card, man? What is it? What is it with the daggum dang old devil card, man? So I don't, like I said, I don't think you're going to really have to worry about this person coming and forcing their way in. You know, but it's like that. I hate to keep using examples, but because when I give an example, I want you to just feel the energy behind it, you know, and place that energy in a different situation or scenario that fits your situation. But like say you work in an office, you know, and I don't know how it works in an office. I'm just going to go on based on what I've seen in the movies and shit, you know, and then that one person, maybe it's a boss or a team leader or somebody, walking down the aisle of cubicles and always wants to stop and have a little bit more of a conversation with you. And you never really see him do that to anybody else. Oh, and it's harmless, but it's like, what are you doing? It'd be one thing if I saw you do this to pretty much everybody on the floor, but you don't. I'm the only cubicle that you stop and sit and have little chit chats with me about what I got going on in my life and a bunch of shit that's not really any of your business. And it feels a little bit odd, a little bit creepy, and a little bit off. I don't know why. I can't put a finger on why. And it would probably technically make me look like an asshole if I said it, because I can't put a finger on it. But it doesn't feel right. So you kind of stay quiet. You know, that type of energy, that's what this feels like. I don't really think, however that situation's playing out for you, I don't really think it's something you're going to have to worry about. You know, but whatever it is, whatever behavior has been going on, you know, the little flirty flirts, the little messages and shit like that, it's probably going to continue the way it has been. Let's grab some advice. Ace of Cups reversed. So I'm going to just run through a bunch of shit that some of you have probably already done, but obviously when you're in a situation like that, especially if it's a situation where it would not be appropriate to stir up drama, like maybe at the workplace or something like that, you know, you start with social cues. Obviously. Start with social cues. And of course, that doesn't work. If you're an introvert like me, you know that doesn't always fucking work. Off camera, when I'm not here reading and teaching and guiding and whatnot, when I turn the camera off and I'm living my daily life, I am a quiet introvert. Very quiet. I do not like sparking up random conversations with strangers. I do not like that. Drains the fuck out of me. And most people, are pretty good with reading social cues. When I walk into a store I've never been in before, you do not know who the fuck I am, and you start asking me all these bullshit ass questions like, what do you got planned for the weekend? I ain't having small talk with you just because you're trying to sound friendly or distract yourself from your own thoughts or whatever. I'm not doing that. I can smell the bullshit from a mile away. So I'll just say, oh, nothing. And leave it at that. And if you keep poking, oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. Sure. Yep. Nope. Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Very little eye contact. Look away. Show you I'm not interested. I've come a long way from who I was when I was much younger. When I was younger, if you caught me on the wrong day, I'd straight up tell you to fuck off. I've come a long way since then. But those of you who are an introvert like me and don't like that random bullshit small talk from fucking fake strangers, we know that some people don't know how to fucking read social cues. And there's one thing that makes my blood fucking boil. And that's when I am clearly showing you that I have no interest in talking to you. And I start walking away from you. And you start following me. I want to twist your fucking head off your shoulders. I hate that shit, dude. Isn't that so fucking annoying? When you're giving short yes and no answers, not making eye contact, and making it very clear that you're not interested in talking, and then you start walking away and they start following you. I'll walk straight the fuck away from you. I'll get in my truck and shut the door while you're talking. All right, later. Have a good day. But I'm trailing off a little bit. That's where we start. We start with social cues, And again, man, when it comes to the whole workplace thing, this, I think, I don't really want to go too deep into that, because beyond that would depend on your individual life path, right? Like, I can give you an example. I could imagine a situation like that if I had a personal reading. Usually, most of the time, when, like, let's say it's at the workplace. Most of the time when I read situations like this, it usually has something to do with the fact that it's time to make a shift in your life path, right? Because the tension's building either way, no matter what you fucking do. There's no real way around it. You're backed into a corner. And there's no way out of that corner without things coming to an end. So I would say it might be time to uproot and go knock on some different doors and see if you can find a different job, because I highly suspect that the universe is probably going to pull you away from that job. It's making you very uncomfortable because it's time to move on from that. That's just a little example. I don't want to dig that deep into it here for the masses. Let's just leave it at that. Start with some social cues. And depending on the situation, hey, maybe it's just a friend group, and it doesn't really matter. Your job's not at stake or anything like that. Start off with the social cues and, make them heavier and more noticeable and more obvious, right? And then if they just ain't listening, like, yo, will you please just leave me alone? Quit talking to me. Will you please just leave me alone right now? Like, sometimes you got to spill it out. I know we hate it when it comes to that, especially when you're trying to be respectful and you don't want to start any drama, but sometimes you have to. Sometimes if you can't, I'm not talking about hints. Where is the line between a hint and a very loud verbal cue. Very loud. It's not a hint. I'm screaming it with my body language and my tone. Screaming it. I don't know. I don't think you would. Is there a word for that? I think a hint is a very subtle, vague, ambiguous suggestion. I'm not talking about being subtle, vague, and ambiguous. I'm talking about being extremely fucking obvious. Right? What would the word for that be? Would that still be considered a hint? I don't know. That's an interesting thought. We should come up with a word for that if there isn't already one, you know? But yeah, so start off with that. Because either way, whether it's a workplace situation or what it is, you know that as soon as that situation starts, when there's that person who's interested in you, you're not interested in them, and they're not catching the social cues, and you know that once that starts, if you let it keep rolling, this is inevitably on the horizon at some point. May not be today, it may not be tomorrow, but it's coming. It's coming. And, let me throw this out there. Do not ever let somebody talk you into doing something that you would rather not do. Do not. If your first feeling when you connect with somebody is no, stand on that. Stand on that. I promise you, when you meet your divine life partner, your first impression is not going to be, ooh, get the fuck away from me. Maybe a karmic life partner. I've seen karmic life partners, start off their relationship in different situations and whatnot. But your divine life partner, no, that ain't going to happen that way. Okay? All right, y'all, I feel like those were the messages that my Scorpio family needed to hear. So I'm going to go ahead and end this video here. Thanks again for tuning in and playing along. Don't forget, the information for personal readings is all down here in the description. All right? I'm out of here now, y'all. I will see you sometime between now and the rest of all eternity.